Senator Cortes Masto.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all four of you for being here. Let me just start by Vice Chair Bowman by saying the mortgage servicing area that you're focused on, I'm very curious about. As the Attorney General during the financial crisis, it was a failure on not all of you, but your agencies. It was a failure by Countrywide. It was a failure by the banks. It was a failure all around. And the people that suffered the most were the American public. So whatever you're doing on the servicing side of that, I would be happily working with you to engage to make sure we get it right.
I look forward to your review of the provisions that we've included and that we will publish by the end of March, and I look forward to discussing that with you.
Thank you. So let me talk about something that has just come up in the Wall Street Journal. It recently reported that President Trump is considering requiring banks to collect citizenship information from new and existing customers. The current Know Your Customer rules do not require financial institutions to specifically gather citizenship status, nor do banks routinely share this information with the federal government. So let me start with Chair Hauptman. Let me ask you this question. How will requiring people to provide a passport or birth certificate to open a bank account, how will that affect their access to a safe and reliable place to store their money?
Regarding citizenship, we are not there yet. I don't believe anybody's contacted me about it, but we're going to follow all the KYC stuff. I tell you, when it comes to opening accounts, though, there are bigger obstacles out there on KYC. The AML regime is perhaps something.
That's not my question. My question is right now, if we are requiring, if this is implemented, like the Wall Street Journal says the administration is looking at it, my question to you is how will requiring individuals to provide passports or birth certificates just to open an account, how is that going to impact their ability to now have safe, reliable money in a bank? Will it impact the banks at all? Will it have an impact at all? Will people still put their money in? That's my question.
Yeah, it strikes me as a hypothetical, but we'll certainly deal with anything that comes down the pike, EOs or bills or what have you.
All right. Mr. Gould, Comptroller Gould.
Well, KYC requirements already impose obligations on banks to collect any pieces of any number of.
No, I know that, but not birth certificates, not passports.
So meaning like the I-9? Are you referring
I'm
to the
talking about to open a bank account,
right,
requiring a birth certificate or a passport and then sharing that information. It's very simple.
I think the additional burden
yes or no?
would be
Is it gonna be a burden?
Employers have to collect I-9 information, which includes that information to legally
And what if
employ
a senior,
folks
what
in
if
this
somebody
country.
doesn't have that? What if somebody doesn't have a passport or birth certificate? They're not going to be able to open a bank account?
Well, Senator, just like with an I-9, I think there are alternatives available. Banks have demonstrated an ability to find ways to know their customer under the existing framework.
Not if they're mandated to require birth certificates and passports. Are you telling me if there's a piece of legislation or supervision or requirement by the administration that banks have now mandated to provide that information, they can get around it?
I'm responding to your question about to what extent it's a burden to collect additional information as part of the KYC process.
Yeah, I understand that. Sure.
Well, thank you, Senator Cortes Masto. It was a pleasure to visit with you in your office last week. Thank you for taking the time. I do want to say that this is a matter for the administration. I don't think they've yet put something in place to require this, and certainly we'll reserve judgment until there's something final for us to comment on.
Okay. Chairman Hill?
Likewise, I think the article made clear that unless or until something is announced by the White House, this is just speculation. And so, like Vice Chair Bowman, I think we stand ready to implement new procedures if they come out. But at this point, nothing has been issued.
Are any of you hearing from financial institutions concerns about this policy if it's implemented? Curious. Has any of the institutions reached out to you and said, "Oh, I read this in the Wall Street Journal. I'm concerned about this," Chairman?
No one has reached out to me on it.
No.
I have not heard anything.
I have not heard anything either.
I have not. It's usually other regulatory issues that come up.
Okay, thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about cyber risk and IT operational failures. I am alarmed by the recent stories that more than half of U.S. banks delayed or scaled back a key payment project in the past year due to a deficit in internal expertise. Since 2023, the top 9 banks faced 33 days of unplanned outages. As disruptive as these outages are, there's a potential more significant risk of a cyber attack by a state actor exploiting vulnerabilities in the outdated system. Does the analysis by bank examiners include an assessment of cyber vulnerability? And I would just ask you to say yes or no very quickly because I'm running out of time.
We examine for cybersecurity and readiness.
Thank
So
you.
it should.
As do we.
Okay.
Same here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.